Hello, I hope everyone's doing well. This is the second video in our tutorial series on the installation of the Moose open source framework and the plasma fluid simulation application Zapdos for open source simulation of low temperature plasmas. So my name is Steve Shannon, and as mentioned in the first tutorial video, the goal of this is to walk through the installation of the Moose framework, as well as the Zapdos application, as well as a couple of other auxiliary software packages that'll be used for editing and visualization. This installation is going to be performed on a MacBook Pro that has not had anything else installed on it yet, so it's basically right out of the box. This installation will be on a MacBook Pro running the Apple Silicon, so basically the M1 processor platform. As we'll see, the installation is pretty much follows the same template regardless of which operating system you are trying to install this on. So hopefully, even though this tutorial focuses only on one of the operating systems, hopefully it'll translate over to the installation on other platforms such as Windows and Linux. So the idea here is that the purpose by the end of this tutorial, you should have a working version of the Moose framework on your computer, as well as two software packages. The first one will be a text editor called Atom, which will be used for setting up and editing the simulation inputs and user files that would go into running simulations. And second, the data visualization software ParaView, which will be used to view results from your simulation work. So let's go ahead and jump into it. And so to start, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And basically, this is how most of this that's how most of this is going to work. Is you're basically going to be seeing a screen share of me trying to get Moose installed on my computer. So hopefully we can do this in one take. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so first thing you want to do is you just want to open up your browser of choice. In my case, I'm going to be working off of Safari. And where you get started is you go to the Moose framework website at mooseframework.org. And this is a website that was introduced in the first video tutorial. And so looking at this, we can start off with just going to get started. When we're going to start with installing Moose. Now, again, depending on which operating system you use, you're going to click on one of these. We're going to be installing this on Mac OS. And so we'll click on the Linux and Mac OS link here. And so basically the idea here is that we're going to go into our, we're going to go into our text prompt for iOS or for Mac OS, and it's basically going to be a simple one-click installation. And so we're going to work through this procedure here, and hopefully by the time we're done with this, we will have everything up and running. Okay, so I'm going to open this up. I'm also going to go into Launchpad and open up my command prompt terminal. And the idea here is I'm going to just run these side by side for now. Okay, so as I mentioned, we are running the Mac with Apple Silicon processors. So this is going to be the one that we start off with. So simple. I'm simply going to take what's in this window. I'm going to hit the copy button and come over to my terminal. I'm going to hit Control V for paste, and then hit return. So it's going to work through and start extracting everything. And with that, in less than a minute, the first step is going to be finished. So we've installed Mambaforge 3. So with Mambaforge installed to our home directory, we're now going to export the path so that it can be used. So again, cut and paste. And then we're going to configure Conda, which is the preferred method for running the Moose-based application development. So we want to configure it to be able to work with Idaho National Labs public channel. Next up, we're going to install our Moose Conda packages. So the first step is to initialize Mamba. So reading through the instructions, we create our virtual Conda environment. So we initialize Mamba. So we execute the following command, and then we end and restart our terminal session. So we're going to go ahead and copy this. And now we're going to close our terminal. And we're going to reopen it. I'm going to set this up again so that it's, oh, sorry. Tile to the left, tile to the right, put these side by side again. Okay, so we restarted our terminal session. Now we're going to set up a unique environment named Moose. I suppose if you want to name it something else, you're more than welcome to. I'm pretty much going to stick to the script to try to avoid any issues later down the road. So I simply cut and paste this in. And now within the Moose environment, we're going to install the necessary Moose packages. It asks to confirm changes. So I'm going to say yes, return. So again, this is being done on a MacBook Pro with Apple Silicon with a M1 Max processor, or M1 Pro, I'm sorry. The other thing to point out is I'm just running off of Wi-Fi. So I'm running off of the EduRoam Wi-Fi availability here at NC State. Again, the reason I bring this up is just to give you an idea of what type of platform I'm working on, what type of connectivity I have, so that you can get some idea of if this is taking way longer, you're not seeing the same thing on your screen that I'm seeing on mine, that you should be able to get some idea of you should be able to get some idea how long it's going to take. Now it looks like I have to run some command line developer tools. So I will go ahead and install these. Agree. And apparently this is going to take about 145 hours, which I'm hoping is just a byproduct of it being a something being somewhat delayed, because I got to imagine this is not going to take 145 hours. However, I am going to pause this and let it run for as long as it needs to, and I will come back so that you don't have to sit through watching the blue line of sadness, and I will come back and let you know about how long it took, since we already chopped about 45 hours off of it down to number 73 hours. Now we're down to 40 hours. Maybe I won't need to pause this. We'll see how long this takes. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and pause it because I have a feeling it's still going to take some time. And as soon as I get to this thing being downloaded, I will unpause it and we will continue. Okay, so the installation just finished up. As you can tell by the clock on the corner of my screen share, it took about maybe like 15 minutes or so to get everything done. So I'm going to hit OK here. Okay, and now that the Moose environment has installed the necessary packages, we need to deactivate and reactivate to ensure, as it says here, that the environmental variables in the installed packages are set properly. So again, we will deactivate and activate. It looks like everything is good. We have not been running into any errors, but if you do run into errors, they have a troubleshooting guide for the installation shown right here. Okay, So the next step, we're actually getting pretty close to the base install here, is we want to clone Moose. So Moose is hosted on GitHub. It should be cloned directly from there using Git, which is we're going to use the line commands here. We recommend creating a directory named projects to put directory named projects to put all of your Moose related work. So again, I'm sticking with the naming convention that's given in the installation, in this case, projects. If you are going to change these names or set up your own directory name, then you'll have to edit these lines. But I'm just gonna work my way through the instructions as they're given here. Okay. So in order to install Moose, we're going to run the following commands. So again, we set up a copy and paste. Oh, we didn't copy it. Let's try this again. Copy. Okay, and return. And now this is running. So one note that's made here, I'll just go ahead and read it while this is compiling. Hopefully this is not going to take long. So the master branch, which is the one that we're installing, is the stable branch, will only be updated after all tests are passing. This protects you as the user, or me as the user, from day-to-day changes in the Moose repository. So basically, one of the benefits of the Moose framework is that there is a pretty well-established guideline for when Moose gets updates to the basic framework. So what we're doing here is it's basically making sure that anything that you run is going to work on future versions of Moose, and there's a whole testing protocol for this. So this is actually one of the nice things about Moose is that necessary updates will be implemented, but that there's rigorous enough testing that it's not going to throw your work under the bus. With thousands of users all over the world, they have a vested interest in making sure everything works before they roll it out. Okay, so from here, now we are going to compile and test Moose. So as it says here, we run these, and if the installation was successful, you see most of the tests passing. Some will be skipped based on the environment. And then we'll head back to the install Moose page to continue our tour of Moose. Okay, now this is going to be the last step on this website. After that, basically, if you want to uninstall everything, you can come back here, and with two simple little lines, you can pretty much kill your Moose installation if you choose. Okay, so we're not going to uninstall it right now. We're going to compile and test. So we're going to copy this. Paste and return. While that's happening, we're going to do what everyone else does while something's compiling. I'm going to fire off a quick text message. Okay, so again, this looks like something that might take a little while. So I'm going to go ahead and pause recording so that you don't have to watch all this. The key thing is going to be at the very end when it runs the tests. we'll scroll through and ensure that all the tests have passed properly. And this will, of course, this will be signs that we have a successful installation. Looking here, looks like we got a couple warnings, but nothing tragically happening right now. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this. We'll come back in a few minutes. It's currently 5 after 10 based on the clock, and we'll see how long it takes to compile. So stay tuned. Okay, so you can see right now that the installation is going through the testing, getting mostly OKs or skipped. Haven't seen any fails come up yet. So this should be wrapping up in a few minutes. What you want to check, obviously, is make sure everything's running okay here. And so far, this entire process, for me at least, has taken about half an hour so far. So that's what I would kind of budget for whenever you're doing the installation on your computer as well. Okay, while it's wrapping up the test, I'm going to go ahead and hit pause again and see you in a couple minutes. Okay, so all the testing is complete. As you can see, as I scroll through, no failures. Everything seems pretty happy. I don't think this is going to take me all the way to the top of the list of tests. Maybe it will. But as you can see, everything looks, I mean, it is a bit of an eye chart, but if, as long as you see green OKs, that tells you that the test passed. You can see it's pretty extensive here. So, so the installation of Moose is now complete. Again, if you want to, down the road, uninstall the Conda Moose environment, then you can come back to this installation page and run these 2 lines of code here, and that should be just fine. So anyways, that is going to end this this video for the Moose tutorial. And in the next video, we're going to quickly install 2 additional packages, an editor called Atom and a visualization tool called ParaView, and we'll get those installed, and that'll be in the next video. So hopefully this went smooth. Hopefully we're as smooth for you all as it went for me, and look forward to seeing you in the next video. So take care.